Alrighty, welcome. It's time for breaking bad habits and starting good ones, gaining good ones. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Today we are going to talk about the habit of seeing the good in others and yourself. I am Martha Burich, and I talk about habits and what gives me the right to talk about habits. Well, I've been in the behavior change field for over 40 years, um, all the way from my first my first days in college, pretty much. Anyway, and I do have a PhD, all but dissertation. And I was a high school science teacher. Also, I taught psychology at the college level for a long time. So I have a lot of experience in this. And, first off, I want to give a shout out to my friend Kathy Veloff. She said that this is how God sees us, the good in us. And it's so, so easy to see the bad. To, I don't know why, for some reason, maybe it's how we've all been raised. Maybe it's at school. It's all this emphasis on improving, improving, improving. We've got to improve. We've got to improve our penmanship. Got to improve our math. Got to improve our spelling. Improve, improve, improve. So we're always being looked at as an unfinished work that needs improvement, and that gives us and others this negative bent, looking at what should be improved rather than looking at what's already great. Every day, just to get through the day, you do 1,000 things right for when you get out of the bed. Okay? Efforts first. You got out of bed. You did that right. You got in the car, you turned the car on, rolled the windows up, you made breakfast, you made coffee, you do 1,000 things right. Why is it we always notice what doesn't go right? Why is it we notice what we don't like about people instead of what we do like about people? And there are so many wonderful qualities. As a teacher, I had some pretty rough students. And every day I had to consciously say to myself, all right, what's good about this person? Because there's good in everybody. I go to the jail. I take an AA meeting to the jail, the women's jail, every Monday. And I also go to a treatment center and take an AA meeting in there. And you meet a lot of people there, and they're at their lowest. And they've done a lot of things that they aren't proud of and they're ashamed of, and they can't forgive themselves. And the longer it takes them to forgive themselves, the longer it's going to take them to be useful to other people. I can't be useful to you if I hate myself. I can't be your friend if all I look at is how I think you need to improve. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to help you improve unless you ask me, unless you say, how do you think I could improve? That's a whole nother conversation. But how about, what do you like about me? And I've just developed where I see what I like about people. And it has totally changed my life. Now that I no longer look for the negative, because I used to see the negative in myself and really get down on myself. Oh my goodness, I would get so down on myself. And I was of no use to anyone else. Once I accepted myself, then I could start being useful to other people and help others to overcome their negativity. So, when you meet someone, no matter what it is, homeless people, I'll talk to them. What are you doing here? How'd you get here? How long you been here? I have a conversation with them. I remember there was one fella. He used to stand at the exit, the entrance to it was the exit from the highway. And, and so I said, how did you get here? In fact, how can you even stand here and the police don't pick you up? And he said, I have a peddler's license. So you learn all kinds of things. Yes, so in order to be a panhandler, they have to have a peddler's license. So you might want to ask about that. And also, I remember one time I brought some meat sticks for him, like Jack Link sticks or yeah, beef jerky type stuff. And he turned his nose up at it. So I had a suspicion about what was really going on there. And I could still see the positive in him. Work ethic. Smart guy. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for being here. I'm so glad you're here. And you are looking great, girl. Wow. Are you ever doing good? And, let me talk about your good qualities. You are just a people person. And that is so fabulous. You bring people together. And you always made me feel good. You always included me in things. And that's another thing you want to do. We want to do is include people in things. Welcome them into our world. But look for the good. Look for the good in people. What do they do good? You know who I absolutely love? I love the people that collect the garbage. They are on my list of top human beings. Why? Because if they did not do their job, we would all be in a world of hurt. This place would be a mess, an absolute mess. We'd have disease and rats and everything else. In fact, that's what happened in New York when the garbage men went on strike. So yes, I really appreciate them. And I have to tell you this story. I don't know, it was about a month ago. We had like this really freezing, horrible day. And the garbage men were out there doing their job. I mean, there was ice on the ground. Oh, it must have been 3 months ago or so. Ice on the ground and everything. And I saw the garbage man out there. And he went above and beyond. Here it is, freezing cold and everything else. That guy reached down into our garbage can to make sure he got something out of there that I guess was stuck on the bottom. I was like, oh my goodness. Talk about a work ethic and talk about character, good character. So I called up the waste disposal company, and the woman that answered. So I said to her, I said, are you the person I talk to if I want to talk to about one of the men that collected the garbage today? And she was like, yes. You could tell she was really expecting something negative to happen. And I told her how impressed I was with that fella, and that it was absolutely fabulous and how much I appreciated him for doing his job. And I think she was in total shock. She said she'd pass on the information. And when I went to Somerset Mall, this absolutely beautiful mall, the lady that cleans the mall, she was there, and I asked her where the restroom was, and I told her how much I appreciated her for doing her job, and that if she didn't do her job, the mall would be so unpleasant. And her name, oh God, I think it was Mary, and she said, and Betty, it was Betty, and she said she absolutely loved her job, and that she took so much pride in making sure things were nice and clean for us. Isn't that wonderful? And that's what we want from people. There is absolutely no job is below us. Absolutely not. I have a friend who works at McDonald's, and I have another friend who works. Yeah, two friends who work at McDonald's. And do you know how hard that job is? Whenever I go through and get a pop or something, we call pop in Michigan. We call it pop. In the Midwest, it's called soda. I don't know what you call it in other places. But anyway, so when I go through, I always thank the people there for coming to work today, because it makes things easier for me, and it also makes things easier for their coworkers. When your coworkers don't show up, goodness, it causes a lot of problems. I know that from when I was a teacher. If a teacher didn't show up, we all had to carry his or her load, and it was very difficult. It made it hard for us to be able to get our work done. So yes, always look for the good in people. And and notice everyone's dealing with something. Everybody's dealing with something. We all have crosses to bear. Right now our air conditioner is broken, and my brother was telling me how he has to go outside. There's a unit outside, and he has to take the lid off. And he said, what possibly could be happening is there's a bee's nest that has interrupted the connection they've gotten between the connection, because we were talking about how sometimes all it is just bugs getting in there. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, here he has to take that top of that unit off, and he doesn't know what he could find. And he was laughing. He was laughing about, oh my goodness, it could be a big bee's nest. Oh, one day I was cutting down some bushes in the backyard, and I heard some bees. It took me a minute to register, but boy, I went running. Luckily, I did outrun the bees. They didn't get me. But anyway, yes. So look for the good. Look for the good. One day I was washing the dishes. I was washing the dishes, and I was all annoyed because I had to wash the dishes, and nobody else had washed the dishes. And I look out the window, and there's my brother mowing the lawn. And I thought to myself, okay, Martha, what would you rather be doing, washing the dishes or mowing the lawn? Let's have a little appreciation, huh? So look for the good in others. Yes, we all get a lot done. Sometimes I just get selfish and self-centered, and that's another thing. There's this thing called the shopping cart theory of character, and that is that when you go to the grocery store, if you return your shopping cart, that shows that you have good character, that you think of others. And the reason behind that is because nobody knows really that you should put the shopping cart back. You could leave it out in the middle of the shopping cart. No one would know, but no one knows, but you take the extra time to either put it in the cart corral or take it back to the store. And that shows that you have a concern for other people. And when I go out to the shopping, in Michigan, when I first came to Michigan, I would see all these shopping carts all over. In St. Louis, that did not happen. It really didn't. But here in Michigan, it's a little bit different. And I think to myself, my goodness, there are older people, there are pregnant women, women with young children, and if a shopping cart is taking up a space, a parking space, or that cart could roll and hit someone's car, or an older person, it, it's in the disabled spot. It makes it really difficult. So if you put your shopping cart back, I really appreciate you. It shows you have good character and you think of other people. That's a really good sign. So what else? When especially if you're mad at someone, when you're annoyed with someone, that's the time to really think about their good qualities. It's so easy to think only of the negative. She never does that. He never does this. Blah blah blah, and that is certainly not true. And you know it. Everyone has wonderful good qualities, and they do good things. So that's our time to see the good in others and to affirm it and say things. It's so easy to be negative, but that's a habit that we need to get into. So I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you now. Find one good thing about everyone you come in contact with. Every single person, whether they tied their shoes. Some people it's a little bit harder to do. When I was a teacher, some of my students were well, they'd call me names. It was especially if they didn't want to do the work. I was always the target, and it didn't help for me to get snotty or come back. And I learned early on to say, well, hun, we have a difference of opinion, or that may be true, or you know, well, thank you for sharing, and we still have to get our work done. And that's the bottom line, isn't it? So yes, so look at what's good about other people. And when you start seeing what's good about other people and things that happen, one time my car broke down, and I said to myself, Martha, you have said that everything that happens benefits you. So hey, now's your chance to prove, that you're not just words. So I thought to myself, okay, how does this benefit me? One, it's teaching me patience. Two, it's teaching me that I can handle when things go wrong. Three, it's teaching me, that was the hottest day of the year. It was so hot. And it was during COVID. And my car, luckily, it coasted into this empty parking lot of this restaurant. It was like 100 degrees outside. But the restaurant had a covered patio. So I got to sit out on the patio while I waited more than an hour for the tow truck to come and get me. But yes, so I thought to myself, what is the positive about this? And always look for the positive. Another positive could have been, well, you know what? My car breaking down could have kept me from having an accident. There's no way to know. God's always on my side. So if I really believe that and I have that faith, then I know everything that happens benefits me. Maybe I can't figure it out today, and maybe I'll never figure it out, but I have to trust God and know that in the bottom line of everything is that He's there for me. And he helps me too. He helps me to break my bad habits. I stopped smoking years ago. I smoked a pack a day. I just stopped smoking one day. I stopped drinking 5 years ago. I just stopped drinking one day. And of course, I had help, went to AA, which I recommend anyone who has a drinking problem do. And yes, you can eliminate bad habits. I lost 50 pounds walking my dog, but then because I did not put it into my mind that I'm a skinny person. I still saw myself as a fat person. What did I do? I gained it back. And now I've got a new habit and I go to the gym every day. In fact, I was at the gym today, got my 60 minutes in. So you want to think about that too. And you don't just want to think about what are the good things about other people, the good things about you. Go in, it sounds so kooky, but go into that bathroom and look good, just any mirror. Look yourself in the eye and say, I love you. You're a good person. You have good qualities. What was that old joke about Jack Handy? I'm a good person and people like me. And there was a joke, a dog looking himself in the eye in the mirror, dog looking in the mirror. I'm fast and I'm strong, and tomorrow I will get that squirrel. So yes, I'm fast and I'm strong and I'm a good person and I deserve good things to happen to me and I deserve a good life. And I am a good person. Yes, I'm human. I'm human. My goodness, yes, we're all human. And that's really the challenge of life, isn't it? Just to overcome all our humanness, all our little bad habits, quote unquote bad habits, all the things. It's only a bad habit if it makes you feel bad, right? If it's impacting your life, plenty of people drink. It's not impacting their life. They have a couple, they walk off. So it's not a bad habit to them, but to those of us who once we have one, we can't. I gotta have another. Same with drugs and everything else. If you can put them down, it's not bothering your life. Whatever. Bad habit is what you think is a bad habit. Now it's time. And what do you think? What do you think you want? What good habits do you want to build? And what bad habits do you want to get rid of? Which I'm doing, I better tell you now. I do a live every day for about 20 minutes. We've got about 2 minutes left. So I want to tell you this Friday, the 7th of July at 5 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to do at least a 30-minute workshop. And I'm going to talk about how to end bad habits. We are going to go through, we're probably going to talk about overeating and smoking, because you could add drinking to that too. In fact, these techniques really work for all bad habits, but we're going to go through step by step what you have to do to eliminate these bad habits and make it easy. When I stopped drinking, a lot of people, it was really difficult for them. The same with smoking. I didn't have a problem, partly because I said I'm not going to have a problem. I can do this. And that's part of the problem too, that whole mindset. And we go into that too, which I'll be talking about more. Now, tomorrow, I'm planning to talk about being grateful, because that has totally revolutionized my life too. All right, so what's our challenge for today? Our challenge: find something you like about every single person you come in contact with. And also say a little prayer and say, you know what? I wish them all the happiness and joy and positivity and all the good things in the world I wish for myself. Well, you guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. Love you, Tracy Leonard. Oh, hey, girl. Thanks for being here. Debbie Morgan, thank you so much for being here. All right, I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.